Hey, all right, welcome back to Raff's Brain, a show about things that are interesting to me. This is your host, Rob Raffety, and we are here for another episode of Riffin with Raff. This is the stream of content on the podcast where I interview people who I admire, respect, who inspire me in some way, shape, or form. I'm accompanied this afternoon by none other than Dan Ryan, who's a colleague of mine. We hit it off. We met, when you first started here, how many years ago? Maybe a year and a half ago. I can't remember exactly when we met, to be quite honest with you. That's irrelevant. The point is, what we're here to discuss is not at all work-related. This is passion-related. And I don't know when we first discovered this shared interest. Do you remember when it happened? I know I post about McDonald's every once in a while. I'm a fan of the restaurant.
No, you didn't actually.
Oh, so I didn't? How did this happen?
You said, what's your first job? And you put a post.
Oh my gosh, okay, that's awesome. Yes.
And I mentioned that I worked at Maccas, and then you didn't know what that was. Here's the order.
Oh, right. We moved because we were trying to have fun. All right, thank you. No, we're set. Thanks so much.
Cheers. We
are getting table service at McDonald's. I've never done that. Thank you for introducing me.
It's leveled up.
Yeah. It is leveled up. I've never, frankly, I don't eat it in a McDonald's. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Back to how we met. I remember this now. This connection was your response to a LinkedIn post where my niece, who has been a subject of interviews on this podcast 3 times because I'm so fascinated by her job as at a movie theater. I posted about it on LinkedIn. Dan replies, and it was Maccas, is that what it's called?
I said Maccas. So in Australia,
how do you spell this again?
Maccas. McDonald's goes by Maccas, so much so that they even have signs out the front that say Maccas. Not even McDonald's.
Did anyone have an origin story for that handle?
I'm not sure. Australians just do that. They abbreviate things. Do
you have other abbreviations for other fast food restaurants? Like KFC be something, I don't know.
Yeah, good question. I don't know. Like sunglasses become sunnies. It kind of just happens with the way we speak. Yeah. And so I think you had to Google it to work out what I was talking about. Realized it was McDonald's. At the same time, you got a prompt saying you've got all these extra points you have to use, and
I planted a seed. The seed was planted.
Yeah.
This is social media bringing people together in real life.
Exactly. And here we are. I'm singing for my supper. You're paying for the McDonald's with your free points.
Yeah, so the other thing that happens is I rack up tons of points. I rarely use my points. I have tens of thousands of points. And every once in a while I get an email. It's very nice of them to do this, by the way. They probably don't have to. In fact, Starbucks recently, I lost a lot of points. I didn't really know what happened. I was like, what happened? Oh, it expired. Well, they were less kind and generous. McDonald's sends me an email. Hey, Rob, you have like 1 month left to use 2,000 points or something, or they're going to go by.
Over 20,000.
Over 20,000? Whatever it was. I don't know. I have still a couple weeks left in the month. I'll likely hit a McDonald's once or twice on a road trip during the holidays, so I'll get utility out of it. But I got some more points, too. I ended up covering half the meal, basically, with points. So what are we eating today? What are we looking at here? I was surprised, but yet...
I just went for the
class, the standards.
I started with the Big Mac. And then these fries, which I got in a Happy Meal. I don't think I've ever purchased a Happy Meal in my life, but it comes with these tiny little box of fries.
They're adorable. I took a picture. I'll post it on my LinkedIn or my Twitter. Not LinkedIn. Sorry, I won't embarrass you that much.
Oh, that's okay.
But I'm surprised that they even let that happen. I know they usually replace it. I think the default is apple slices now. Are you aware?
It was. I had to click off and say no to the apple slices to get the fries.
Did you have to verify that you were over 18 years old?
I should have. Just upload photo ID.
All right. So when I heard that you worked your first job, not just any job, your first job at Maccas. Is that what it's called?
Maccas.
How do you spell that? M-A-C-K...
M-A-C-C-A-S. Maccas.
Folks, I've never heard of that before. It's always been Mickey D's.
Yep.
That's about it. Mickey D's, McDonald's, Captain Mac's Supper Club. My grandma used to call it that. I don't think that was like a colloquial thing. I think it was just her thing. Anyway, Maccas. Talk to me about this. Did you grow up eating a lot of Maccas? Did you have this desire to want to work there from a very young age? I want to you can embellish this, by the way. This is not an honest podcast necessarily. Have fun with it.
Well, yeah, we grew up never eating fast food or eating out. We're low income and I'm a big family.
So McDonald's might have been like a treat.
So McDonald's would have been a treat, except for the fact that we were we brought up vegetarian, and McDonald's didn't have any vegetarian options.
And this is not. Yeah, this is true. They don't even have. Do they have them now? Even
they do have some, but so there's an alternative to McDonald's called Hungry Jack's, which is Burger King, but in Australia.
Hungry
Jack's, yeah. And they have a vegetarian option, and they also have more salad on their burgers. So that if you get it without meat, you get more salad. So that's when if we ever went to fast food, it would be Hungry Jack's. But that was kind of once a year or something like that.
Quick question. Sorry, as an interviewer, I'm prone to interrupting, so I apologize in advance. It's very freewheeling. Stream of consciousness. Like when things hit me. I wonder about Australia. If it's in relation to America. When I grew up, if you got good grades in school, at the end of the semester, and you could show your report card, you could get a free cheeseburger. That was I don't know if they do that anymore. There might be a faux pas. It might be frowned upon. There may be rules against this. I don't know in America these days. But was there anything like that you got or maybe days at school where they would give you a special fast food?
Yeah. Well, we had a very similar scheme. So we were homeschooled.
Okay.
I'm the eldest of 6. We're homeschooled. But the scheme that we had for fast food was we had a family meeting first Monday of every month where the entire family would assemble, would have items for the agenda, very structured approach. And it's the official place for family decisions to be made. So family decisions are always deferred to that time. Also the official place to thank your parents or a sibling for something they may have done for you, like give them recognition.
How many people in your family?
8.
What?
Yeah.
What number are you? Let me guess.
I'm first. Boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl.
You were the number one.
Yeah.
That has certain implications. We're putting a pin in this. We're gonna have a follow-up conversation about birth order and your agreement or disagreement with how this is related to your success or path in life. Okay. So
what are you first?
I'm second.
Okay.
2.
All right.
And a girl was the older sibling. So separated by 3 years. I think therefore I had it much easier. And we can talk about this in our next conversation. Gosh, I love it when these things get so exciting. So I do want to constrain us a little bit here to McDonald's because I love McDonald's, and I'm sorry for intervening. I asked too much about your family. Anyway, you had your family meetings.
Oh, that's right, fast food.
This is the way that you.
So if we had read the Bible every day for 30 days for the whole month, and each day one kid was responsible for making the family get their act together, get on the couch, and do it. Then we were allowed to do preferential voting. That's how we learn about preferential voting for a fast food option, and we would go together as a family. And so I think we hit that maybe like 3 to 5 times a year. We would actually manage to do every day. And then it would be like, right, preferential voting starts, and so everyone would put in their votes. McDonald's was always there, and it never got selected. Partly because my dad introduced something called the power of veto. Which he would do if McDonald's ever did get up, but I don't think it ever really did get up. So usually we had Hungry Jack's, which is Burger King, Pizza Hut, things like that on there.
Amazing. At a certain point, I'm wondering how you even got permission to work at this place, because it sounds like your family was not into it on many levels. But yet was this a sign of rebellion? Was this how you tried to assert your individuality as a young man, or how'd this work out?
Yeah, it was. There was rebellion involved with the job at McDonald's, because the other thing about my family is discipline was administered through fines, and all homes all chores in the house were almost competed for. So if you didn't keep up with a chore, you would get fined. You would lose it to the market, which was your siblings, who could bid for it in Australia. Anyway, I got my job at McDonald's at 14 and 9 months, and
14 and 9 months.
That's how old I was.
Because that must be the earliest you could work.
Yeah.
So
I applied the day.
As soon as you possibly, the day you turned.
Day I turned 14, 9 months. On that exact day, I went in with my application, and went home and waited for them to call me. And all my siblings were waiting.
Because you're the first one, yeah.
Yeah, it's and the phone just didn't ring. And day 2, I'm deliberating, do I call them or not? I call them, they don't answer. Call them again, they answer and tell me when the shift manager's on. And that happened for 3 weeks, and eventually I went in.
You must have been discouraged there for a little bit.
I was. My whole
up.
family was as well. Yeah. They were like,
Were there other options? Why not Hungry Jack's?
I think I did put applications around the place, but McDonald's was right close to our house, so I could roll. I used to rollerblade, so it was straight down the hill, and I'd be there.
Oh, it wasn't uphill both ways in your youth.
Yeah, it was uphill on the way home. But the rebellion bit came once when I got fined. Say it was like 50 cents for arguing with my brother, and I turned to my mom and said, "Got change for a 50," because I'd been paid by McDonald's and had a $50 note. And my mom describes that as a moment of realizing, like, a 50-cent fine is not going to command the same kind of behavioral outcomes.
Wow. That's a pretty interesting lesson that you learned at a young age. The diminishing marginal return or utility of $1, but yet you were at a point where maybe we need like income scaled fines or something. I don't know. All right, so talk to me about your first day. You must have been super excited. Did they give you the uniform in advance? Did you get it when you show up? I've never worked in fast food. I've worked short order, but never like in a corporate fast food environment. So maybe I should try it sometime just to scratch the itch. You know, I'm curious.
Yeah. Trump did it. Worked for him.
So,
I remember like. So once I still hadn't got the call back, but I went in one day that I knew the hiring manager was there. I brought my CV and she said, "Oh, do an interview right now." We interviewed. I remember her asking, "What are you going to do with the money that you earn?" And I said, "Breed chickens."
And this serious?
Yeah, I was breeding chickens at the time.
So you're going to double down on that and invest?
I was going to buy more and breed more. But, you know, I was in suburban, so it was unusual to have chickens, let alone want to breed them.
Yes, suburban chicken is a controversy, even in Arlington County.
Yeah.
I think you're allowed to do it, though. I think there's been some loosening up of the rules. But, so you go in there, she must think you're a little odd, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Are there people in your same age, or you're the youngest?
I wore a tie that was too long. Like I wore a tie with some silk tie with sunflowers on it that went down to my fly. It was definitely an overkill.
You dressed to impress. You got to make a good impression.
Yeah.
You made an impression. But they liked you enough. They hired you.
Yeah.
Labor is what it is. They need you, right?
Yeah.
Give you a shot.
$6.88 an hour for a 14.
Okay, that's Australian. I don't know how that translates.
It's about $1.50.
Oh, more.
Not really, but
okay.
It's not a huge amount.
All right, so your first day. No, there's different roles, right? There's the other drive-thrus there. Or
you never go straight to drive-thru. So
okay.
Everything in a McDonald's kitchen is divided into stations, and on each station, say the fry station, you have what's called a station observation checklist, and it's a 2-pager that includes every conceivable detail about how to cook these fries that you're eating, and it has the process right from taking them out of the freezer, putting them in the fry machine, to serving them, with recommended approaches to salting, to like even menial parts of the task, and temperatures. There's statistics right throughout how much a large fry should weigh, the temperatures that fries should have, both in the warmer when they.
Are there periodic checks on this, like quality control?
So the manager is required to check on that every so often. One of the things my dad did is he would say, he had some way of saying it, but it basically meant don't set your standard by your peers, set them to your own standard. And so one of the things I did when I first started working there is I asked for each of these station observation checklists, and I got a binder, and on my lunch break I would memorize all of the statistics.
I love you, man. I want to meet you as a young man. I think I would fall in love with you. You're amazing. I love this.
And
you're so intense.
I was so intense, and I learned every statistic about every station. So much so that a manager doing their checks didn't have to bring their notebook. They could just call out, what's the internal temperature of a cone?
And you would know this.
I'd be like, yep, 7.5 centimeters high, -3 to -4. And they would do it. Oh, yep, cool.
You must have been quickly the kind of manager's favorite. I imagine hardworking, disciplined, knows his stuff, reliable.
And I could work day shift because I was homeschooled. Most day shift
my
workers
gosh.
require a wage of like a very high wage, $14 or more. Whereas I could manage a day shift, and I could open the store. I was happy to get there at 5 a.m., open the store, set it all up for $6.80 an hour. Compared to a normal day shift worker, it's like over 21 and gets
This is
$15.
fascinating. I want to hear a little more about these other colleagues, coworkers.
Yeah.
They're not in your age bracket because, as you mentioned, this is a lot of work you're doing in the daytime hours.
Yes.
Are these folks who are part-time? Is this actually maybe a path that they are in, and this is kind of their livelihood? Or is it a mix, or what's it look
During
like?
the day, most of them it was their main employment.
Wow.
And we were in a kind of rough area as well, north of the city.
Okay.
And so they had pretty colorful kind of life stories, and the situations that they were in, like the personal situations they were in, were pretty colorful. And sometimes that, ended up playing a role in how a day would pan out. We had like
Emergency situation. I can imagine
people coming
family.
through drive-through yelling, trying to get one of the colleagues due to some personal issue, or I remember once like the mop bucket pole going missing, and it was because Matt had taken it off and ran outside and smashed in 4 windows on a car, and then run back into the store.
Were you ever? I'm sure. How many years? So, like, how long did you work in this role, or at McDonald's? Or
So,
basically,
yeah, I started when I was 14 and 9 months. I think I was one of the youngest promoted. I can't remember exactly when, but I got manager at maybe 16.
Holy
and,
moly! You're managing the store.
Was running like 12 staff.
Were you like doing
that.
overseeing payroll and everything, in a sense?
No.
No.
But I ran the store. Like I would run.
Nuts and bolts.
Yeah,
Like
like
a junior manager sort of thing.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
very cool, though.
So I wasn't doing like rostering or payrolls or stuff like that, but I was doing the. In fact, I don't know legally if I was allowed to
Probably not. Yeah, it would seem really outlandish.
under 18, but yeah.
Did
I would have to walk around and tell a lot of people in their 20s, like, wipe that bench, do this, do that, and I was still, yeah.
were you? How did you? Do you remember your relation to authority? Given you started to have power, you started to be able to tell people what to do. Do it better. Do it right. I'm gonna have that manifest. How's that? What's that look like for young Dan Ryan? Do you abuse your power? Are you prone to be like absolute power corrupts absolutely? Or
That's what I wrote my year 12 thesis on. So I was writing at that time when I was 16. I wrote, I don't know, several thousand words about that. Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness and another text. And I remember thinking, I feel like I do have a lot of power in a McDonald's store. I didn't realize that, and I've worked for, I say, over 20 years since, over 10 jobs. I never had more power than being able to walk into a kitchen and tell a bunch of guys 10 years older than me, wipe that bench, pick up that thing, mop that floor.
You don't get people to react like that where we work now.
No.
That's all about, mutual benefits. I gotta like convince them.
And this thing called dignity.
It's right.
There's none of that.
There's a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Did you ever get cross with someone? Like, did you ever get someone like, say, this little punk kid doesn't know what he's talking about? Like, did you ever have any, challenges on that margin? Or people are mostly going to be, your Australians are pretty nice, right? Is that right?
Australians are pretty nice. They kind of, looking back, I definitely took it serious and I was like really proud of my work. I applied for the Charlie Bell scholarship and I wrote
How could you not have got, please tell me you won this scholarship.
No, and I happened to be somewhere in the US. That's the other thing. It started my love affair with the US. I now live here, but I happened to be somewhere in the US a couple of months ago, and I met someone who said, oh yeah, I work at McDonald's, but not a store and head office. I said I applied for the Charlie Bell. She's like, my job is to review the Charlie Bell scholarship applicants.
Oh my God.
So, it's a small world. I didn't get it, but...
that makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Based on what you're describing.
I think it was... I can't remember how it works now. It made sense at the time. It was more like any McDonald's worker who has... It wasn't so much about your contribution to the store as like how you would use the money to your education.
This wasn't like a good PR move. We're going to give this guy some... What was the prize? Remember?
It was money, I think, towards
Let's say it was 10 grand or something. Like, you would have expanded your chicken business, your chicken farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They wanted something a little more,
aligned.
Saleable for a nice story that warms the hearts of the readers. you know, it
Yeah,
helps their children or something like that.
Yeah,
Frying chicken.
I need to dig out that old application. I do remember 2003. 2003 I was just a crew member, I think, but I got crew member of the year. We had an off-site picnic. The store manager invited everyone to a park, some drinks and whatever, and I got a big metal medallion. One person got it for the year.
Total number of employees, roughly.
I think 70.
Full-time. Wow.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
And Dave Taylor got runner-up employee of the year, and I was like, I felt so guilty, and I was thinking about all of the work he did. Like, he came in early, and he's doing all of these shifts, and he's a solid guy, and he's a lot older than me, and I've got other years that I could get it, but he's probably not going to be there that long. And so I remember approaching him once and saying, kind of like, hey, I thought you probably should have got it, actually. And he said, dude, I couldn't care less about that thing.
It's funny how our own perceptions, at a young age you can learn the difference, different perspectives on things like this.
Yeah.
Well, man, this is very exciting. I'm grateful we had this introductory conversation. Let's take a quick stock of our meals. I've actually diverged from my standard. I want you to know this. It's unusual for me.
Okay.
I must have a go-to almost every time. I'm trying to think the last time I did something like this. It's very uncharacteristic. Only because we're inside, I felt like I gotta relax a little bit, I feel like I'll get a little bit more than usual. Typically, I'm the 2 cheeseburger meal guy.
Right.
2 cheeseburgers, fries, drink. So good. It's just the right amount of food. Today, we were going a little off the rails. I got the double cheeseburger for 50 cents. I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
The deals are insane.
Yeah.
And then a single cheeseburger, which I haven't touched yet. But I started off with the McChicken.
Yeah.
Which is, I hadn't had one in a long time. I remember why now. It's not my favorite, but it was good. It hit the spot. How about you? So you had the Happy Meal.
Yeah, I just went for what we could get with points.
Thank you for that accommodation. That's very nice.
Happy Meal and Big Mac was great.
Now I noticed you did something wild, folks. I didn't even know this was possible. You can customize your orders.
Yeah.
That's something I wasn't even aware was possible at McDonald's. Oh, I have a couple more questions for you. We're going to keep this going. Just remember, you added tomatoes?
I did.
No.
I took them off last minute though, because they added 70 cents, and you can't do it with the points. It wouldn't have mattered.
It's okay. You're so generous. But is there a strategy behind this, or is it actually a taste preference?
Yeah, you've unpacked. This is a huge question, because there is both a taste preference and a strategy behind it.
Okay.
But the strategy is not appropriate to the current systems that McDonald's has. It used to be that McDonald's made burgers ahead of time, and they sat in a warmer.
Yeah.
So it was always worth customizing, because then
I still thought that's what they did.
Fresh.
They don't do it like that anymore?
Nope. And I was the very first person in the world to be a part of implementing the new system, which is called Made for You, which was in the early 2000s. They made it that
it hasn't been this way in a long time. I had no idea.
America's taken longer to come across, but in Australia, in South Australia, where the test market, one of the test markets for America, for McDonald's globally, and they brought in this system, which my store was one of the first. And basically, when an order comes, it comes up on the screen, and you make that specific burger for that order, but the meat is kept warm. And so all of the ingredients are all separated. You toast the bun, comes out, you put on the different sauces and condiments, and then the meat is kept in a warmer and goes on. It used to be that you would make the burgers whilst the meat cooks, the meat comes up, put on the burgers, and then they sit in a warmer.
Very standardized, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that's how it was. I used to remember as a kid, my parents would get upset with me if I ordered something. I would always try, like, can I get it without mustard? No! We're gonna get...
It would take too long.
Yes.
Because you got to wait until they make another rack of 12 cheeseburgers and make one without mustard.
But that's so long ago. It hasn't even occurred to me that I could customize my order. Wow. Anyway, so you showed me how to do this on the app, which was mind-blowing, revelatory. And so the strategy is it's a taste preference. You like tomatoes. The strategy of trying to get fresh food is irrelevant. So, but there's a strategic component there, you said. So what is that?
So even though they have Made for You, some of the staples like cheeseburgers and McDonald's and Big Macs still end up at the delivery end.
Got it.
And so what a server will say is like, I'm good for the Big Mac, don't make it, before they put the bun in.
Got it.
And they take this one that's been But that end piece is actually very hot, way too hot to keep a burger for a long time. It's so you get a very dry burger. And then the other thing is that I always, if somebody customized their burger, I always took special care with it because they care about it more so than the average person. So I would just make sure it was done how they wanted.
Wow, this is such an exciting conversation for me personally. I love it. I have one more curiosity. We're going to follow up with this. We're going to do this again sometime. I'm having too much fun. Off menu orders, is that a real thing? I've seen this on like various websites, like go in there and order this and you can get it a certain way if you use a code word or something. Is this
that's I think that's In-N-Out Burger that does that.
That does it more than McDonald's wouldn't do it.
McDonald's, they do it. You just, all you have to do is hit customize and change whatever you want. It's just no big deal.
Okay, it's not even like it used to. I guess this is like it's like I don't even remember some of these. It was kind of funny names for things.
Like
you could get like a fish fillet on a Big Mac.
Yeah, you can.
I mean,
actually, through the app, it's
surf
trickier.
and turf.
Yeah. So through the app, you have limited customization options, but if you go up to the counter, they can do much more customization. One of the hacks that we used to do as my family started taking advantage of me working there, they found out like if you get, say, a McMuffin for $1, sausage McMuffin, and you get it without sausage, it takes off the cost of the sausage patty, which was like 90 cents. So you end up with a muffin with cheese for 10 cents.
That's amazing.
Sometimes it would even go into the minus, so you would effectively just be zero cost.
So your family came around and started to get excited about coming there for family meals and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
While you were working?
What I used to use it. So I remember like in my bedroom, I wanted all the floors sanded and the walls painted, and I would go to work at McDonald's and I'd bring home food and they would sand my floors and paint the walls in exchange. That was one of the transactions I remembered. And once I became a manager, I had free food. So it
free food. What a amazing idea. Did you ever get sick of it?
No, and I used to actually, I did a thing where I whilst I worked there, I didn't eat any of the meat. I didn't eat it's called 10-to-1, the patties on a Big Mac, and 4-to-1 on the quarter pounder.
Okay.
They're about 22% fat content or something, so it's not super healthy to eat all the time. And so I just made a blanket rule not to eat that. But we had McDonald's Australia, we had gourmet salads, and that were $15, and all kinds of stuff, and it was free. Anything was free, so I could have like a bougie salad or a bougie burger with like a chicken crispy that's breast fillet.
My niece gets a similar perk at the movie theater. A lot of low or free popcorn is the commodity there, but she's already gotten over that. Like, it's not valuable to her anymore. It's just fascinating. One last question. We do have to wrap it up. This has been an extended Riffin with Raff, but I don't mind it because we're rolling with this. Did any siblings follow in your footsteps? Did you like chart a path and get them excited about working in this? And then did they have a high standard to fill and they didn't meet it? And like I could see people being upset. Oh, you're no Dan Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm just making this. I have a fantasy about how this all plays out.
Yeah.
And they resent you to this very day. They got
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My imagination gets the best of me sometimes.
So you it sounds young starting to work at 14, 9 months, but my brothers, they started working, I think at 13, on building sites for kind of friends of the family.
Real work.
Yeah.
Like,
and that was their calling. So real work and real money. I think
there you go.
They found a pathway to
real. I don't want to diminish McDonald's. I just mean physical labor, highly taxing. I would say a lot of McDonald's work is taxing. It's physical labor. You're on your feet. You're walking around. It's hot. I'm not trying to disparage it or diminish it. I'm just saying there's a distinction between outdoor, as I imagine, like construction, cement, nails, hammers, versus a more kind of sterile but yet taxing setting. So anyway, I didn't mean to say that in a negative sense. I want to make sure people know that. I respect the hell out of people who do this and work here.
Yeah. So it made sense for them to go into building sites. My sister's, she also, like very young, started as a hairdresser, I think. So I think if there hadn't been other options that were more what they were interested in, they may have. But
so you're the one and only.
Yeah.
Wow. No one could hold could take the torch. How about,
The bar
this is,
was-
I gotta keep going, one last question, because you already somewhat new, although it's not really new anymore, your father. Have you thought
Sure.
about this as a future? You've got to do this. It has to, the torch must be passed at some point.
So we have a family rule of no McDonald's unless we're traveling internationally,
Okay.
and we happen to go to Canada on the weekend, and
Be
so
gorged. To
to
that
my
is
shame, I went to
international.
McDonald's many times, but I took my daughter in, who's 18 months, and
18 got him started early, man. All
yeah,
right.
and she's like, "What's all this busyness?" She loves it. She's running around flat out, and I picked her up, and all the staff were saying how cute she is, and I told them she's going to work here one day, and they loved it.
There you go. Make it so. Whatever you do, this is your mission now in life, Dan. We're gonna update this. In 10, 15, 20 years, I want to hear the stories about the legacy of the Ryan family. Mickey D's, baby. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me. This has been a real pleasure. We're just getting started with these conversations, so I hope you'll come back.
And we finished our meal.
I'm almost finished. I have a couple more bites.
Yeah.
You did most of the talking, which was helpful. So thank you so much. Thanks everybody for listening. See you next time on Raff's Brain Riffin with Raff. Until then, have a good one. Bye-bye.